So at 6:30, let's call the meeting to order. This is a regular board meeting of the Lake Bluff Park District Board of Park Commissioners, March 15th, 2021. Marcia, roll call, please.
Commissioner Beeler, Commissioner Greenfield,
Here.
Commissioner Lane,
Here.
Commissioner McHenry, Commissioner Walsh,
Here.
Commissioner Weber,
Here.
and President Mossberger.
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
And a second. So Marcia, roll call.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh, Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
and President Mossberger.
Yes. Are there any visitors out there that would like to address the board on any topic that's not on the agenda? Right, hearing none, we'll move on. So we have to go through a little bit of a procedure for the public hearing, which I start. So I need to announce that the public hearing is open to receive public comments on the proposed B&A ordinance, and explain that all persons that want to be heard have an opportunity to present written or oral testimony at this time. Given that we have no visitors, I'm guessing that no one wants to do that. Are there any additional comments from the Park Commission? All right. I don't know if the secretary is John matter because there's nothing to be read into the record.
No, we don't have any. I didn't receive anything.
Okay. I've already asked for any written or oral testimony. So given that there isn't any, can we get a motion by a board member and a second to adjourn the public hearing, please?
So moved.
Second.
Marcia, roll call, please.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Mossberger.
Yes. All right, so the motion carried and the hearing is officially adjourned. So moving back up, we've got verbal communications staff first.
I'll just jump in real quick, and you'll see a lot of it's in my report, but obviously, a lot of you are aware we have some pretty positive trends with the COVID right now, improving situation. So we've been able to remove the wall at the paddle hut and open that up, unlock the gym door, just do a few things for operationally. That's I think signs of an improving situation, and it's going to positively affect our programs as we go forward. The other thing that I was going to mention, we did discuss the Gulf Vision's request with the facilities and programming committee, and right now that's scheduled to be discussed by the program or the finance committee on March 30th as well, and then that will eventually come back to the board. And I think the final thing I had here just on the project 1122 with the Army Corps of Engineers, we have officially submitted our letter requesting a 1-year delay while additional testing can be done. So that's been sent to the Army Corps of Engineers. And I also want to mention that for the I don't want to steal all of Noah's exciting news, but the playground equipment for preschool, they're scheduled to begin tomorrow, although we're getting some snow today, but they're scheduled to start the install tomorrow. And that's all I have.
Any other staff want to add anything?
Sure, I just keep everybody informed about camp registration. We started that a week ago. We are selling spots, closing sessions extremely fast. Pretty much Camp Kickahow, Mighty Sprouts, our specialty camps such as athletic camp and teen track, there are none spots available. We are at $218,000 in gross revenue. We budgeted for $274,000 for gross revenue for the summer. We are anticipating to hit that number. I think that things are going in the right direction. Hopefully, if they change some of the 6 feet of social distancing to 3 feet of social distancing, we'll be able to open up even more spots. So Dana has quite a bit of good news too on preschool, even enrichment. Dana?
Yes, absolutely. We've got some great news to report to you guys today. I agree with Jim. We are definitely on the right path of this COVID situation. We have, with the exception of the afternoon kindergarten, we have refilled the preschool school year. So every classroom is full with a wait list now with the kids that would like to finish the school year off. So that's great news. And then also for the next school year, we are doing exceptionally well. The 2s are full, the 4s are full. We have like 5 spots left in the AM3s. And then with the new classroom that's starting to fill, we've got 4 kids enrolled there. So a total of 102 students are enrolled already, and we've got about 20 spots to fill in 5.5 months. So we will do that. It's great, never been better. And then also, we brought back our Friday 2s enrichments. We brought back Terrific 2s, and we also brought back Tootsie Toes. And 13 kiddos are enjoying morning with us and 10 in the afternoon. And the moms and dads could not be happier. This is their first time to ever be away from mom and do a social situation as such. And they're having a ball. It's just really fun to see them on their own with other friends. They've never done this before. So this is all new. So, because a year ago they were only 1. So this is really cool to see. So families are very happy with us right now.
Great news.
Yes.
Thank you. And if possible, if you could reserve a spot in Tootsie Toes for Paul, it expressed
Yes.
in that.
You got it. Bring a lunch, Paul.
Jim, I had a question. How does that $274,000 budget compare to 2019, the life before?
The previous year before was right around 350,000.
Okay,
So a good,
Now-
so it's still,
I think a good thing to note is, as Jim mentioned earlier, if they do, the CDC changes the guidelines and from 6 feet of spacing to 3 feet of spacing, that'll automatically, give us the option to add more, more kids in some of those camps and bring up the revenue.
So that's limited by bodies, not registrations then, is what you're saying?
Yes, they actually, and Jim can talk more about this. They did a great job last year going in all the facilities where the camps meet and measuring out the 6-foot distancing to see what fits, how many kids can go in a camp.
Got it.
okay.
Great. Thank you, guys. A lot of positive developments, which we all need. So that's great. So moving on to different committees. Finance committee's meeting on the 30th. So you guys probably don't have anything to update, right?
We don't have anything new. We will have something after that meeting. Yeah.
Parks and Beach Committee. I don't think I saw Corey on. So is that Jennifer? Or Nick?
Either one.
You popped
Go for
up.
it.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
With Parks and Beach, well, actually I'm gonna, I think, turn it over to John. He just gave me a little bit of update, and Noah as well, about the Bluff construction.
Okay, so that's that project is is moving along. We met with Cliff last week and Noah to go over some of the just some of the timing and different issues. We're working on the permit with the village, and we've ordered the materials because of the long lead times. This is one of the things we had taken out of contract. So we've ordered the timbers ourselves from a mill in Ohio. The bricks we have on hold at Lurvy's, a local yard that we have an account with. So we're meeting on Thursday with Mike, the superintendent from Copenhagen, to talk a little bit more about the timing of the project and getting them started. So we're looking for probably realistically an April start with finishing sometime in June. I mean, if things really came together just right with the timing, we'd still be done by Memorial Day, but I wouldn't really count on that. So just to be realistically, I'd say it's probably gonna go a bit into June, but we're talking about making plans to be able to work around that. It'll, the areas that they're working on will be fenced off, but we'll still have the access road open so that, the beach can be used during the project if that does go into June. And as far as the Park and Beach Committee, we were gonna talk about scheduling a meeting to discuss the remaining alternates that were not chosen, not part of the program or part of the project at this point. So I was hoping to at least start with Corey and see what day works, over the next week or so we could schedule a Park and Beach Committee meeting and just go over that and some of the timing and details. But the other item that's important that we've talked about is I know that Commissioner Beeler has mentioned, there's starting to be more questions and more talk about the project as we're getting closer to spring. So we would like to do a targeted letter to the residents that live in that area that will be affected by the project to tell them what the dates that we're looking at with the project, what's going to be involved with the project, and let them know that it's a Secretary of State grant. And then we're also going to post a couple of signs that won't have quite as much information on those signs, but there'll be a couple of project signs down by the entrance there on Sunrise and by Sunrise and Central. So that way the walkers that are out there will see the sign and they'll answer some of the questions. So we're working on that, and so that's kind of our update. Well, it's the Sunrise update, but that also covers the Park and Beach Committee.
Thank you. Are we going to need volunteers again for monitoring the beach access because of limited number of people as we did last month?
I'll let Jim talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been talking to my aquatic managers if this is going to be necessary this year. This is on our agenda item for this Thursday's meeting. We meet every Thursday. Right now, we don't feel it might not be necessary, so we're trying to staff for the month of May. Due to we increased the number of people that are allowed at the beach. We're going to kind of play it by ear and just wait and look at the weather because we kept track of how many people were coming down to the beach in the months of April and May. And every time it was cold, we didn't get as many people. So I think as the weather gets warmer, then we might need to add some volunteers to help us monitor the beach in April. But May, we're going to staff it.
Okay. Thanks. I still have my tally counter on my phone from last year, so.
Ready to go.
All right. Emily, how about facilities and programs update?
Right, so we met last week and we had 3 items on the discussion. We talked about the first one was the Golf Vision contract, and the committee made some recommendations. First one was to discuss the golf survey with the Golf Visions and make sure that the expectations were being met. The second one was to, and this was done with the committee and the staff. So these were the 4 things, and I don't know if we're supposed to discuss this, Chris, now, or just say that these items.
Yeah, I'd probably public forum. So
What? Say it again.
I'd probably hold off in this public forum from doing it.
Okay, so I'll
you're
just
gonna-
say that we just kind of, the committee agreed to modify the contract. And
Yep.
that was our recommendation. And then we also discussed the NBA, and the committee also recommended with what the staff proposed. And the third thing was the pool date, and the committee also agreed with the staff recommendation to go with the June 12th date. So is that better?
No, thank you.
Okay.
So you've already talked to Paul, right, about what items we talked about related to Golf Visions?
Say that again?
You've already talked to Paul?
Yeah.
So they know.
Yeah. Yes, he knows.
We have,
Okay.
yeah,
So you're in good shape to meet on the 30th.
yes.
Emily, thank you. So is there a Friends update, Jennifer?
Yes, and I really have to credit John Hirsch and the rest of the board because they really have a lot of irons in the fire for fundraising. Obviously, you all know about the bricks, and thank you, Jeff, and everybody for those social media posts. I'm fielding a lot of questions from different people, so I direct them to go look at what's in front of the village and say that's going to be replicated even better in front of the Sunrise Beach. Lake Bluff Yacht Club is looking to ask their members to throw a little bit more as a donation. They haven't really allocated where they would like to target the money, but they know they want to make it as a donation for the beach. So that's going to be a good thing coming through. The Shepherds had money that was set aside, or I shouldn't say the Shepherds, Kathy and Jack Shepherd had their son's dedication for the skate park. There was money that was set aside with the Friends, and that money is now going to be used as a scholarship for the preschool program. So thank you, Jim and Dana. That information was sent off to Kathy and Jack Shepherd. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I think they would like to have to be called the Shepherd Scholarship. There are some other irons in the fire about someone who wants to sell photos of the beach chairs. And there's also the Lake Bluff Wine Company. So these are all kind of things that people are looking at, as well as some folks along Sunrise who want to throw some private parties to do fundraising for the beach. So there's a lot of activity out there, which is really good.
That's great to hear. An active group, which is wonderful.
Yeah, they're good.
Hey, Chris, or President Mossberg, if you don't mind, could we have Jeff do a quick update on the bricks?
Sure.
Okay, today's the last day to get a brick, and as of now, we've sold 266 4x8 bricks at 125 bucks a piece, and 109 8x8 bricks at 250 bucks a piece.
Wow.
So
Do some quick math for us, Jeff.
it's not quite 60,000.
That's great.
But we did well. We didn't have a huge, strong finish like I'd hoped. I did report this to John Hirsch earlier, and he was very happy. We both have some ideas moving forward, what we're going to do with this project, and we will discuss that at the Friends meeting, I believe is next Monday.
Right. So if all the board members can reach out to all their friends tonight, tell them they can still jump online and get their brick.
Yeah, and almost all board members have one.
That's great. Any commissioner comments? And I do not have any either, so we'll move on to minutes. Can we get a motion to approve the minutes from the February 22nd regular board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Marcia, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bueller,
Yes.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Welsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Musburger.
Yes. The invoices, is Josh on?
Yes.
So I need to get to the page, sorry, but I remember there being a lot of large numbers. Can you comment on some of those larger ones? including a big number for audit. And I thought we talked about audit at the last meeting. Because
So
we
yeah,
saw
for,
at that point.
yeah, for the audit, so we pay it. So last month we talked about an $8,000 bill. It was for the 2020 audit. So originally it was put in 2020, but it's actually not paid until 2021. So our audit bill for a year is $21,300. So far for 2021, we were billed $8,000 and $9,200. So $17,200, and then we'll get another bill, I think in June, he said, for the remaining balance. So we are on target for what we budgeted in our normal costs.
Okay.
And you might remember that we approved this back in the fall before Josh started, but they held the same price. They were giving us I believe it was a 2-year option on the audit, and we decided we wanted to do 1 year, and they kept the price the same. It was a couple $100 increase, I believe, from last year, but they kept it the same as their quote of 2 years, and we just did the 1 year extension.
Okay. Dana Hansen, $14.99.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Technology, it seems like the Excalibur is getting bigger, or
So yeah, the Excalibur invoices that were paid this last check run were for March and April.
Okay.
So it is a couple of months in there, which you'll see in the financials too, that we're a little over budget because when they were posted and paid.
I know that this is just a run of invoices, but is there some way, Josh, that you can add some comments? So when there are items like that are either a double month or there's an extraordinary item, you can just make a comment somewhere, so then we'll know when we're looking at this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll need to address it at the.
Yeah, I can definitely add some comments in there.
Okay, that'd be
Go
great.
forward.
Anything else stick out to anybody else? I know Scott's talked about the cleaning before. That number also looked really big to me.
Another 2 month. They didn't give Micah the invoices in a very timely manner, so that's January and February's.
All right, those are the larger ones I had a question on. Did anyone else have a question on anything they saw in there?
No, not me.
No, I agree. I was thinking things looked large, but they all were things I've heard of before. It wasn't like, what is that? So
Yeah.
I felt the same.
And I know there were some extraordinary ones in there, like Cliff Miller was there and ACOM was in there. So those will go away next month, but okay. So, sorry, back to the agenda. So we need a motion to approve the invoice schedule for the ACH payments for February and approval for the invoice schedule for the period end March 15th, 2021.
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Marcia, please.
Commissioner Bieler,
Yes.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Mossberger.
Yes. All right, Josh, you're still up. On to finance.
Yeah, so for the current month, the general fund had a net loss of 156,000, which was 46,000 below what we budgeted for. Some of that was due to the donation. We had a budget of a donation for Mom and Park of $20,000 that we didn't receive, which was why there was a $20,000 variance in our actual to budget. And then for our expenses for the general, it was $26,000 below budget, and that was just due to timing. Like the audit, for instance, was
Right.
we budgeted it for April, and that a big amount hit in February. For
Who's
recreation,
the Almond, sorry, Josh, who's the Almond Park donation coming from?
I believe in the budget notes, it said Kiwanis.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was carried over from last. We received it last year. I'm not sure if that budget note was carried over, maybe. If it was supposed to or not, I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I don't remember it being talked about again. They did the music stuff last year.
Yeah, I think it was for that, and this is probably the last thing we can blame on Rich, or maybe not, we'll see. But I believe it was a note that was made and just got carried over, and so I believe that was last year's donation. We're not aware of another one, and we have someone here in this meeting with us who's going to be a vice president in the Kiwanis. So that's Dana. So congratulations to her.
Thank you. That starts in the fall.
But if you can find 20,000 for us, we will take it and put it back in our budget.
I'll work on it.
I'll start charging admission at Mom and Park then.
We can move that booth back over there.
Right.
Hey, Josh, when you're going through these monthlies, are you strictly looking, strictly looking at like previous years for comparison's sake? Or are you taking the numbers that we came up with the like 2021 budget, and then just kind of like allocating that by month?
So we're looking at I'm mainly looking at the budget versus the 2021 budget. In our accounting software, Tyler, we allocate it. It varies. Some of it's allocated month by month. Some of them we go in there and allocate it when we think it's going to hit the expenses and the revenues. But mainly I'm looking at the 2021 budget versus the actuals.
Okay. So that like when I'm looking at like kind of the bottom, the 2021 February budget grand total for all these different funds, you're comparing those to what we had for the 2021 budget?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
And then for the current month for rec, we had a net loss of about 27,000. It's performing better than the net loss budgeted of 49,000. And a lot of that was due to the change in the COVID restrictions. And then for year to date, the revenue was under budget, $23,864. And again, a lot of that is due to timing of invoices, when we budgeted for them and when they actually got paid and hit the income statement. And then in rec, the revenue is over budget, $50,690. And again, mainly due to the COVID restrictions, the increase in revenue from that.
You know, Josh, I'm just wondering, when I look at the budget now, if, you know, you put comparison with the prior year, which is how it's always been done and normally should be. I wonder if we can have something, another column in there, change from 2019. Because 2020 is an anomaly that doesn't give us a proper, you know, what are we comparing it to?
And I plan on one of these days changing the formation of the board report. I haven't gotten to that yet, but I can definitely show the 2019 numbers in there as well too. Obviously, yeah, with the 2020 being a strange year.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Strange.
Let's go with that.
Being kind. The only other item I would just throw in under the finance would be, and I think I sent an email out to the board members, that we did receive a check for a little over $58,000 from the village for impact fees. So those were paid by developers for 4 different houses. So that's not something we budget for because it's pretty random. as far as when we receive it, but it is good news for the good news for the park district. It's
Yeah.
another check for $58,000.
So
And
that
with
covers,
that check request, it'll be on March's financials. We didn't get the check in until March, so you won't see it in these numbers.
got it.
And that's
Anyone
a good sized number.
Yeah, it
Yeah, 58,287.
makes up Kiwanis and then some.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anybody else with any questions on the numbers? Seems like we're trending in the right direction, which is good.
Yeah. I think it's always difficult the early part of the year to keep up with where you're going to be, closer to the end of the year, and you get these timing differences. And in February, they make a big difference. Whereas by the time you get to September, October, it kind of smooths out a little bit.
It's a good point. It's a tough month to be hit with a lot of these extraordinary expenses. You don't have much revenue coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially in a still strange year that we're still in.
Still strange. Yes.
We are receiving a big invoice next month, I think. Is that the one for the revetment work, right? That didn't make it in.
Right, that'll be on the
Late.
next
So
check run.
Yeah, that's 210,000, but that we were talking about paying out of the $889,000 bond, the MagSafe account.
Correct. All right, can we get a motion, please, to accept the financial reports?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Marcia, roll call, please.
Commissioner Beeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes,
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Mossberger.
Can I now get a motion to ratify the purchase card payments, please?
so moved.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. Marcia?
Commissioner, go ahead.
I have a quick question. Was that the one, I was just curious, was that the one that had the dance in there? For 2,000? The competition fee?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, there was a dance deposit in there.
I was just curious about that. Is that paid by the students or by us?
Jim can probably.
So I can answer that question. So the competition teams pay for it within their fees.
Okay, so we're not paying for it.
More of a pass
Well,
through.
we write the check, we collect the fees
For
from
renting.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I was just curious. I saw that and I was like, wow, that's nice. But making sure that we're not covering that so I was just curious. As a dancer, I was just curious. I was like, wow, that's nice you guys are picking that up. So thank you for clarifying that. Okay, sorry. Just curious.
That's all right.
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Beeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
Yes,
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Mossberger.
Yes. All right, so moving on to new business, we've got the ordinance, which we've already had the hearing about. So can we get a motion to accept the ordinance, please?
So moved.
Second, Beeler.
Thank you. Marcia, roll call, please.
Commissioner Beeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Walsh,
yes,
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Mossberger.
Yes. All right, sorry, I'm on page 67, but I think the cross-country skiing was next, right?
Correct.
Is Bob with us, or is someone with us from the ski
Yes,
club?
I am here. I am here.
There he
Chris.
How's it going?
Going well. Just wanted to say that we brought the snow today.
Yes.
You're welcome. We're always
You're not-
thinking snow here at the Nordic Ski Club. I appreciate you guys giving me a couple of minutes here to talk, if I could entertain you for a minute. We've been at this for about 4 years, and never really come back to the Park District to kind of give updates. I kind of give updates a little bit when Ron was executive director, and I've yet to meet John face to face, but I think we've emailed a couple of times, and certainly Noah knows what's going on when we update him. But we had a fantastic year this year, and I really felt compelled to share what a lot of the comments that we got, because I think we created a ton of goodwill with not only the fine people of Lake Bluff, but all up and down the North Shore. People as far as Chicago, Evanston, Libertyville, Gurnee, all up and down the North Shore. So just to put this into context, cross-country skiing, yes, you can ski anywhere you want. You don't have to have a groomed trail, but certainly having a groomed trail makes it a heck of a lot easier. So to put that in perspective, here on the North Shore of Chicago, there are 2 places that groom trails, and that's it. And Lake Bluff is one of them. The other one is the Wilmette Golf Course. So for cross-country skiers to have something local that they can drive either down the street or they can drive 15 minutes to go see is a huge plus for those that ski. If we didn't have this here on the North Shore, they would have to go up to Kenosha. University of Wisconsin Parkside grooms trails up there, and they've been doing it for a number of years. So this is a real asset that over the last 4 years has gained a lot of attention, really a lot of attention from the Nordic ski community throughout northern Illinois and even into southern Wisconsin. But back to my original point, we built a lot of goodwill, and I run the Facebook page. Again, I'm sorry, my name is Bob Clifford. I've been one of the co-founders of the Lake Bluff Nordic Ski Club, along with my neighbor, Jeff Scott. We've been doing this for about 4 years, and we run the Facebook page where we kind of update people on trail conditions. And we get a lot of good comments and feedback back and forth. I don't know, are we allowed to share documents?
Jeff, do they need to send it to you?
Well, Bob already did. So does your share work? Does your share work, Bob, or do you want me to do it?
Let me just try and see. Yeah, let's see here. All right, everybody see that clearly?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to kind of breeze over these because the list is long with comments, but this first person, I know her, she is from Evanston. You have brightened the winter months. Like others who have posted, I'm grateful. It's been a treat to visit and even chat with fellow skiers. This next one from Mary, she's referencing doing a virtual race that you normally do up in Wisconsin. And she chose to do her virtual race at the Lake Bluff Golf Course. And she was very grateful to have the ability to ski a 40-kilometer race at Lake Bluff Golf Course. This is a good one from Aaron. One skier I met one day on a sunny but very cold day, and a long cold snap said, "My friends keep saying they feel so closed in and gloomy, but not me. We have this." Nice to see people getting out and enjoying it. Richard is a longtime Lake Bluff resident, and he's indicating he's been out there 34 times on the golf course. Very memorable season for him. Judy, I did not pay her to say this, but she says, "I love you, and I don't even know you. And I don't even cross-country ski anymore due to a bad fall. Your posts about conditions are uplifting my spirits." That's nice to hear. Wonderful ski yesterday. I hope to get out today. You made a huge difference in our lives this winter. That means a lot when I hear stuff like that. That's pretty meaningful. Josh Fox posted a picture of his young son out there with skis. Always great to see young kids out there. Leslie Macklin is from Evanston. She is a big cross-country skier and a big advocate of what we do here in Lake Bluff, and really shares the news around the Nordic community. So she's been out a number of different times. Here we have one of your very own, Nikki Walsh was out there posting some
All
great
right.
pictures, having a lot of fun. I'm not sure who you're with, Nikki, but
So, a friend that came in from California, she was psyched to do it.
awesome. That's great. Davis, very thankful that we have this in our community. Again, I did not pay this person, Suzanne Marie. Is there any way we can contribute to gas, upkeep, beer for this amazing grooming? Can I buy you lunch? We're new to this area. This is a true gift. And then she goes on again to say, I'd love to drop off some beer or gourmet. I did not accept any beer from her. I just told her to have a great ski. Always nice to get comments like that. Tish, really appreciate having a place to ski so close to home. These kind of go on and on. I've got pages and pages of comments from people. Been a great year. Thanks for the Park District for making this a magical winter. We got some great photos from people. Obviously, lots of wildlife out there, lots of deer and coyotes and all kinds of neat stuff. This picture right here where the red is in the corner, it was actually an early morning ski that I did by moonlight. That is moonlight that's lighting up the sky, not the sun. This is, I think I put this one maybe last. Our first winter here in grooming's really made it for us. Our family will treasure the memories we had. Thanks to you. All realtors should market the Lake Bluff Golf Course when selling on the North Shore. Thank you again for everything you do. The early morning grooming, keeping us posted. Blah, blah, blah. Couple more pictures. But just, again, this is not about the club. This is about sharing the goodwill that we've developed with everybody here in the community, and just wanted to thank everybody. Really wanted to thank the partnership that we have with the Park District. I especially want to thank you, Noah, for being extremely attentive, and your communication was always very quick and very on point, and we appreciate that very, very much. So anyway, that's kind of my couple of minutes there, and again, I appreciate the opportunity to get on here and share a little bit with you guys.
Well, that was fantastic. And you're thanking us. Thank you for all your efforts and all that you have done over the last 4 years to make this a reality. What a phenomenal amenity to have had during this horrible winter that we've all had to live through, and Mother Nature cooperated. And, as you see in all those postings from people, people needed it. So that was just fantastic that, you and Jeff and others had the idea and followed through, and the Park District, in a relatively small way, contributed some money. Noah contributes a lot of time with his guys, and partnership is great. And thank you again for all your efforts. That's so fun to see all those postings. That's great.
Yeah, it's a labor of love, Chris. It's win-win for me. In full disclosure, I'm a cross-country skier, so going out and grooming means I get to ski on my trails that I just groomed. So it's a great win-win for me and others. But I love doing this. I really do love the fact that we've got one of the premier cross-country loops here on the North Shore of Chicago. So thank you again for the Park District and everybody there for letting us use the equipment and groom trails on the golf course.
Yeah, thank you. Thank Jeff for us too.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, well, that was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, so moving on from cross-country skiing to a different kind of amenity to enjoy. Let's talk beach and the improvement project. Is this just an update on timing, basically, John?
It really is. I touched on a lot of these things earlier. The only thing I would just add right now is that, you know, I did check in with our grant administrator, with the Secretary of State's office, and, you know, the Park District is still in good standing. They were just missing a few quarterly reports from the past year, which was not really a problem. Again, we have that money. We put it in our account. In fact, we're just transferring it out of that into our operating account as we anticipate this project starting soon. But that was good to confirm the 1 year extension had been signed and recorded with them, and so that we're in good shape there.
Great. Excellent. So start in April?
Yes. Yep. That's our plan.
Great. Anyone, any questions on that, or should we move on to pickleball? So moving to pickleball, we're not looking to approve anything for pickleball, just an update.
It was kind of an update, and I guess we're looking for a little bit of direction from the board as far as, you know, one of the things, you know, it started with the $20,000, you know, us putting money in our budget to do the $20,000 repairs. As the Friends heard about it, they wanted to help with additional pickleball courts in the 12,000, so that brought it up to about 32,000. But at the last meeting, President Hirsch brought up the idea of, you know, possibly resurfacing the court instead of repairing the court. So doing the repair will last about probably 4 to 6 years for the most part, and those cracks will come back through. Resurfacing the court is more expensive, obviously, but it should be about a more of a 20 to 25 year fix, so it's much more permanent. And I think one of the things that he mentioned, you know, that possibly if we wanted to do it sooner and do the resurface, that maybe the Park District can finance the project, and then the Friends do their fundraising and pay that back, but that will take some time. So instead of waiting on the fundraising, you know, that thought was to have the Park District finance it so we could do it sooner.
Any spots for bricks over there?
John brought that up.
We seem to be good at that.
You can mention that. So we would definitely take a look at all options. And as Commissioner Bueller mentioned earlier, they get a lot of irons in the fire, but they're looking at fundraisers.
I'll get back together with Jim and with Mark and everybody, and Kate, the director, because she had a lot of good ideas for fundraisers. It's always good to have parties. It's always better to have people who just want to give money. So we'll find ways to be able to get that rolling.
Corey, it'd be all over. You can find that area for her beer garden right next to the pickleball tennis courts. I think now we've got.
It's going to be next to the gate for the Sunrise Beach, Chris.
Okay, that's right, Corey's Gate.
Right.
Bricks for the beer garden, though. I mean, that makes sense, right? You want a bricked in.
There you go.
John, did the trustees, I mean, what kind of time frame are we looking at for paying back the Park District on that?
You know, there wasn't a specific discussion about timing. I think it was just, you know, the fact that we could do it sooner rather than later. So they have a meeting on Monday. I think, you know, at this point we just wanted to kind of gauge the interest of the board and whether you'd like us to continue that, you know, that conversation, that direction, or if there's something else you think that we should look into.
So John, we've committed 20,000. It's in the budget. The Friends already have roughly 15, right?
Yes, I believe that's right.
Something like that. So they'd be looking at having to raise another 35 over some time period, and we'd have to talk about what we think a reasonable time period is. The reason why that approach works so well at paddle is we charge for paddle, and we were able to add in that capital fee, which then was used to help pay some of the costs that we spent on the fourth court, as well as some of the other capital expenses. So I there's precedent for the approach, but pickleball is very different because unless I'm wrong, you're not going to be charging for outdoor court time. You might charge for some lessons. But I think we'd be totally reliant on the friends raising the money. And then I think you get into priority. Is this their priority for the next, couple years for 35,000 that they can raise? Or as Jennifer mentioned, they've got a lot of in the fire. And if they're looking to raise money for the beach, which we very much appreciate, there's only 8 hours in the day. So I like the idea of the resurfacing. I've walked on those courts. They're terrible. They definitely could use it to be, improved beyond what we were talking about in the $32,000. I just don't know that it's necessarily our priority with everything else going on. I'll shut up and let others contribute.
I agree with that completely. There's only so much money. To me, it's not even hours in the day. It's so much money in the community that we're going to be able to fundraise. And, if the beach is the priority, then we're asking, and that's going to be a big fundraise. And then how often do we keep going to the well until the well is dry?
Yeah. I'll find out more because I haven't touched bases back with Kate or anybody else about fundraising. But I think you're talking, I agree. Their priority with the Friends is going to be with beach fundraising. But we're really looking at a different segment of folks who will be using the pickleball. And I think that the lot of the thought was to use those for tournaments, for games, for lessons, for different things. So using the courts in that sense as money generators, as well as fundraisers.
Yeah, and a good point to mention about that. I don't know that they've put together the numbers for the pickleball yet, but you're right. I know that Kate was saying we could do tournaments with that number of courts and leagues, outdoor leagues. So that would lead to some revenue. I know for our youth tennis, I believe the youth tennis lessons, I believe just on that alone, don't we, Jim, don't we have about a $20,000 profit each year?
Froze up, John. Would you say?
I was saying with the youth tennis lessons, don't we have about a 20 that are held on the Blair court? Isn't there about a $20,000 profit on that?
There's about a 20
program?
net, a net profit of about 20,000.
So we would have,
sorry, go ahead, John.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say. So we would hope that pickleball, we would, design it in a way that would be profitable as well.
Is pickleball getting so popular that there are actual tournaments between communities or leagues? Is this something that's going to turn into, what paddle has, morphed into over the past 10-15 years?
It really sounds like it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pickleball groups all over the place, and especially because of the span of ages or age groups that can play this game. That's really what makes it so popular. So you're right, Scott. There's a lot of requests not only to play, but to have tournaments, leagues, things like that.
A lot of warm weather
Go ahead,
states
Nikki.
have huge, participation. I have friends in California and in Florida that are, young, not, old people, and they're, playing in lots of tournaments.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think maybe this is something that if we kind of have maybe more of a concrete repayment schedule, and maybe a little bit of a vision from those who actually play pickleball of what this, could become. Maybe we can think about pushing off the $20,000 worth of repairs. And maybe if there's more, more funds committed to over the next, 6 to 12 months, maybe we can pursue that $80,000 repair. Because I agree, those courts are absolutely horrible to plan right now. We need to do something, but if pickleball is something that's going to, you know, replace or be a significant alternative to tennis, then, you know, maybe we need more courts, and we just need to figure out a way to pay for it.
And just from a staff perspective, I mean, it is pickleball definitely, you know, it's trending in a positive direction. You know, it's becoming more and more popular. You're right. This is the leagues are starting to be connected with Highland Park or other communities. We met with Kate and talked a little bit about that. Interesting thing about pickleball too is that really, you know, older or young, faster, slower, you know, you can really adjust, and a lot more people can play than say tennis or even paddle. So it has a little bit broader appeal. So I think that's, you know, those, and the other thing that, you know, at least when we were looking at putting these repairs in the budget, was the fact that this is one more safe outdoor, you know, COVID safe activity that we can put people outdoors and provide something that's, you know, going to be a popular activity.
So I think, John, what you've heard is that we are open to the idea, but we need more information. We kind of need a business case. We need some numbers. To Scott's point, we need the vision. We need to know, you know, from a fundraising perspective, what is a realistic target in terms of number of years for them to raise the funds necessary to pay us back. So we just need more information.
Yeah, I think that, and you know, is it like paddle? Is it a social sport? You know, do people gather in huts? And the leagues that are, you know, local, you know, would we be able to join in them and, you know, take part in that and have mixers and, you know, build it that way?
They gather in the beer garden, Nikki.
Yes, with the bricks.
That's the bricks. There we go.
You know, but I think one other issue is also we can't necessarily look at ourselves as being a bank lending money to specific activities to be paid back. We also have our cash flow issues, and we, you know, every project that comes up that they say, okay, we'll pay you back over a period of time. I think we have to be very careful about what we agree to finance, because we don't have the room to finance that. So it's got to come out of our cash. It's got to come out of our operational budget. And we have to make sure we have the money in the operational budget. And there are going to be limits.
Yeah.
True, but at the same time, you know, if we put in $20,000 worth of repair, and then in 3 years, it's like, oh, no one's playing tennis anymore. It's like, God, what we really need is pickleball courts. It's like, well, you know, geez, we had the opportunity to just like, you know, have a little bit of vision and, you know, take a straw poll of the people in the community. So it just, you know, to Chris's point, just need like a little bit more time and a little bit more due diligence before I think we can, you know, make a yay or an nay on this one.
Okay.
Well, and because it's a financial outlay either way. So, you know, smart money is better.
And
Our
that's
money.
a good point. And as you know, we're making some transfers right now, as Commissioner Greenfield would probably point out, that, you know, just to because this is our low cash on hand time of the year until tax, you know, those tax bills the checks roll in June. So we're having to make a few transfers to our you know, to our operating fund, and it'll be fine. We're not in bad shape, but you know, if we didn't have to do it, we wouldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So no action needed there. Thank you for the update, and look forward to the next discussion.
Okay. We will work on getting more of that information that you're looking for.
Great. Next item is stormwater management. You've been approached.
Correct. By two different members of the Stormwater Management Commission. I just, you know, kind of generally outlined a little bit of information in that memo, but, you know, they're trying to fix some flooding issues to the north. that affect some of the, I believe it's a Navy-based housing, but I'm not sure. But they are, so they've approached us about discussing some, compensatory flood storage. So adding some areas on our property that would hold more water when it rains, so that it drains more slowly and doesn't flood as it works the Skokie River as it works its way south. So we don't have a whole lot of specifics yet. We've had a couple of video conferences with their staff to just start talking about this. I believe it's come up before, but wanted to just bring it up to the board and talk about whether you would like us to keep working with their staff and pursuing some options. There are different things, such as an easement, through some of the area of the golf course. We've looked at with the maps. Noah and I have gone through, especially Noah, who knows the area really well, and looked at other storage areas for water that, for ponds that could be built along the Park District property and where it also joins the village property. So that's just kind of where we're at. And I guess we're just, wanted to briefly bring it up to the board and see if there's interest in us continuing that conversation at this point. And one thing I think is important to mention, I did ask, how would it affect the golf course? How would it affect the operation of the golf course? We don't want to have it flood and stay flooded for 3 days. And they are talking hours, not days, that this work would cause, it to hold water for maybe a few hours longer than it would have, and then it would drain out. So they're not adding, a large, something that's really going to drastically affect the operation of the golf course, but it could have a small negative effect in that way as far as that impact.
So how would these drainage areas work? They would be empty unless there was a certain amount of rain?
Yeah, Noah, if you want to.
Sure. Yeah, that's the impression I got from when we talked to stormwater management. Essentially, it would be almost like catch basins type of. So when there is an overflow of water through the Skokie River, which it's going to flood the course anyway, it always does. It has for the last 40 years. We always get, when we get huge storm events, this would allow for kind of some compensation storage areas to be built out of play, obviously, but just to store a couple acres worth of liquid so that it would drain slower and not jam up as much upstream, so that the housing in the Navy base and farther up north, it would flood, continually. Also affects Route 41 and the flooding that happens there. So this is kind of all tied in together as far as this flood storage. So it would be areas of acreage that would be, dry when nothing's going on, and when the flood event would happen, it would store some excess fluid and then drain back out once the ditch went back down.
Noah, could we get like pictures and stuff of what they're thinking of where they're proposing it, or do you know exactly, so we could visually see it? And
that's what we're trying to work on with them right now, is to see if there's any actual acreage that could be used for this storage. And I think there might be a couple of spots on the course itself. We've also we kind of worked our way map wise down south towards Jawa. There's some areas that actually belong to the village, and we kind of urge them to reach out to the village as well to say, there might be some areas that could be used for this as well. We haven't actually chosen any spots specifically. There was just the baby steps of conversation with them, just to see what were they talking about, how would it impact us, and then we could start looking at, okay, well, how much storage can we give you? Because we don't know how many acres we're talking about that could be used. And like I said, this is just for us to come to the board and say, do you want us to even continue pursuing conversation with this? Do we want to just stop right now and say, nope, just find somebody else? So
there's no chance it could help, right? Like if there's these empty areas sitting and it's going to help other people, is there any chance it could help the golf course as well and prevent some flooding, or no?
Potentially, depending on what's part of part of the area along that ditch gets used to store fluid.
Mhm.
But I think more than anything, it just may add another they told us it may add another hour or two of drainage time to the course rather than
I see.
than anything else.
Okay.
And we're going to believe them. No, I'm not being cynical. I mean, I'm being serious.
No, I trust them. I mean, I'm assuming they've done their due diligence as far as hydrological studies of how much liquid comes down that, because that ditch goes all the way up through Gurnee and comes all the way south past way past us. So
I think we had a conversation at a meeting a while ago where we talked about, and this may be something I brought up, that if we worked with, I don't know whether it's the Stormwater Management Commission or the Army Corps of Engineers or someone who works with flood amelioration, that if we had some design changes at the golf course so that we had some storage capacity for water that normally is flooding the golf course, and create, different hazards, different water hazards, that could both be used to help with the flooding as well as hopefully make the golf course a more interesting course. Put some architectural features into the course that might make it more interesting. I think saying you guys are going to flood and it's going to take another few hours, I don't know that a lot of the residents would have a lot of confidence in that, because we already have to dance around the golf course every time we get a heavy rain. And then we also have the issue where Golf Vision is losing play, and they're the ones losing the money on it. And, if they don't buy into it, then we really can't do it in any case. But I would like to see if we could get some help with the golf course. If we get something from it, then to me it's worth pursuing. If we don't get anything from it, why would Golf Visions do it, and why would we do it?
I agree with Paul. If it's part of a larger conversation that maybe involves IDOT and 41, involves some neighboring properties, and could end up benefiting the golf course, so that we flood less, I'm all in favor of continued discussions. If the discussions are one-sided and it's all about how we can help a neighboring property by flooding potentially more and longer than we do now, I don't think that's a good move for the Park District.
I agree.
Me too.
So I'll leave it to you guys. If you think you can steer the discussion into a broader discussion about maybe a, more of a regional lift than a specific property lift upstream from us, then I'd say continue the discussions. If they don't want to talk about that, then just say they need to find another neighbor to be their catch basin.
President Mossberg, if you have a moment, and I believe Sandy Hart would like to address the board as well.
If that's
Wait,
okay.
we have a visitor?
Hi there, how are you?
Hey, you were on this board before. You missed your time to address the board.
I did, but I wasn't sure if public comment was allowed at the time. But let me just say, so much more pleasant, this kind of meeting, and sometimes some of my meetings. So it's
I can imagine.
so nice listening to you guys and listening to Bob Clifford talking about cross-country skiing. I was
Wasn't
out
that
there
great?
too. It was great. I, took many falls this winter as I was learning, but thank you. I just wanted to hear the conversation. There is a benefit to the golf course, but I'm going to allow SMC staff to really talk about that. I don't think anybody is on here, but I was just going to say I hope that that you'll provide direction to your staff to continue the conversation with SMC, because I think there are some advantages to the Park District.
Great. And I think we're fine with that, as you know, as Paul outlined, as long as there are advantages to the course as well. So yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. See you, Sandy. So John, I guess that's all you were looking for from us, was direction, which I think you have. So you know, again, as long as the discussion is a little bit broader and involves some benefit for the Park District, you know, carry on.
Okay, I've made some notes of these comments, so we'll go back and meet with them, and then if this should start to work its way towards a committee, would that be the Park and Beach Committee?
I think golf usually falls under facilities.
Yeah, we do facility for that.
Okay.
Just trying to get it off our plate. No,
No, you've got enough. I want you focused on the beach.
We don't want to deal with golf course erosion.
right. We've got enough
No.
erosion.
Golf course.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so moving on. This says from Josh. So Josh, you have something with the Lake Forest Bank account?
Yeah, so we are gonna go ahead and complete a transfer of $733,000 into our operating account. 233,000 of that is from the Lake Forest Bank and Trust MaxSafe account for the revetment project, and then $500,000 from IPDLAP to operating. 350 is from the Secretary of State grant for Sunrise Park and Beach, and then 150 we're just borrowing, so we are at our stay above our $250,000 monthly balance, our target balance in our operating account, with the expectation to transfer that back in June, July, once we get some tax money in.
Can you help me with the acronym IPDLAF? What is that, and where is that money actually held?
It's
You can Google it. You can Google it if you need to,
It's
Josh.
the Illinois Park District Liquid Assets Fund.
And
So
where is that money?
that's with the state, I believe. Is that right, Josh?
I believe so.
We could pull out the paperwork, and we can send you an email later to clarify that. I believe
No, it's okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's the Illinois Park District Liquid Assets Fund, and that's where we primarily keep money for capital projects. So as mentioned in the memo, the 150 will be transferred back. The 350 is from the state grant that we've already received. So we're just transferring that out of there into the operating to go ahead and do the project. The 150 is just to, again, get us through the next few months, and then that will be transferred back after June.
What is the advantage of keeping the money with IPDLAF as opposed to keeping it in our own bank?
Originally, I mean, we used them in Winnetka too. I know they had some higher interest rates before COVID. Currently, I don't think there's much of a difference.
I mean, is there?
I suspect, Chris, I mean, it's pretty similar to the MaxSafe account that we have with Lake Forest Bank. And
Except one is insured by the feds and the other one is backed by the good faith and credit of the state of Illinois.
What's your point?
Unless there's advantage in rate or some other advantage I don't quite see here to leaving the money there. I don't know why we wouldn't just have all the money in our own bank account.
Well, maybe the chair of the finance committee would like to put it on the next meeting and we could discuss it a little bit more.
Fine.
Perfect. I'll leave it in your expert hands. All right, and you don't need a motion from us for that. You're just letting us know what you're doing.
And that's already been done. So that's just informational.
Oh, okay. And I think this is the last item is New Visions. Oh, no, sorry, 2 more things. So the New Visions agreement, which we talked about at the facilities committee. So a few of us know what this is. Did anyone have any questions on this? If not, can we get a motion to authorize the executive director with attorney approval to execute an agreement with New Visions Athletics?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Marcia, roll call, please.
Commissioner Beeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Welsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Mossberger.
Yes. Is Jim still on?
He is.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, nice job on that one. I think that's a creative win-win for both parties involved. So nice work.
Thank you.
And we're on to you for pool.
That's correct. So this was also presented at the Facilities and Programs Committee. Basically, we're already going to have the pool filled and heated for training. Originally, we budgeted to open the pool 4th of July weekend. What we're asking is to open up the pool June 12th.
Jim texted me that he's having some Wi-Fi.
Fence possibly be in our favor.
You froze up there for a minute, Jim.
Yeah, you broke up there, Jim.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been having internet issues all evening. So basically, we have to train staff in the pool Memorial Day week, and the pool will already be heated, already be filled. And we thought, why not open it June 12th? We could start collecting daily fees, and the residents can enjoy the pool a couple weeks earlier than when we originally budgeted.
I doubt very highly anyone on the board would object to that. Get it open. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyone have any comments there?
No, get it open. Hope we get the same summer weather we had last year.
Be fantastic.
And any reason not to open it any sooner? Just staffing?
The staff won't be trained in time. They have to do their LGI. We have to get our managers trained for LGI, who have to do instruction then for lifeguard certification, and all the timing will be about the same time. It'll be June 12th.
Got it.
Even the sports for the high school kids have been extended until about that time, hasn't it, Jim?
I think June 12th or June 16th or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Track
June
is going
16th.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Jim. Nice job.
Good.
John, any community comments or correspondence or anything?
I've not received anything.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We had quite a bit on there, but that's all good stuff. Can we get a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Marcia, roll call.
Commissioner Beeler,
Yes.
Commissioner Greenfield,
Yes.
Commissioner Lane,
Yes.
Commissioner Welsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Weber,
Yes.
President Mossberger.
Yes.
49.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your spring breaks.
Hey,
Thank you.
Here.